Hey guys, welcome to my channel, The Music Hole. My name is Cole. Now today we're going to do something pretty fun. I'm going to share with you guys all of my favorite album covers from my vinyl collection. And I have about 800 records. So when I was going through them today, I realized that I actually really like a lot of them. So this is going to be relatively long. But anyways, I got this suggestion to do this from a channel that I follow called Kiro Was a Diver, which I'll link below. It's a lot of fun. But before I get into it, I wanted to do something as kind of a bonus. So I highlighted these two records, which I like, but I highlighted them because they're good examples of the opposite end of the spectrum, album covers that are really boring, in my opinion. This is Gang of Four with Solid Gold, some post-punk music, and this is the Koyaanisqatsi soundtrack by Philip Glass, also really interesting. But anyways, enough of me jibber-jabbering. Let's get into it. All right, so these are not in any particular order, which should make it more fun, I think. So up first, we got a really wacky one with Fergus and Geronimo. This is Funky Was the State of Affairs. I just love this drawing. And this album is just really bizarre indie rock. The guy, Andrew Savage from Parquet Courts, is in it. Then you've got the singles collection by Squeeze. I love the colors on the singles and Squeeze part, and I really like this character. It just really stands out to me. Then you've got Replica by One Otrix Point Never. I love this drawing of like the hand in the mirror and the skull. Just really striking to me. Pretty cool album too. Now I love geometric stuff. So this one is fitting the bill. This is Angles by The Strokes. I just love the colors on this, and I really like that kind of Marble Madness look to the middle area. Very cool. And you've got some indie rock with Triptides. This is Afterglow. I just like this drawing quite a bit. I like the colors. I like the naked lady lying on the beach or whatever that is. Very cool. Then you've got some metal. This is New Bermuda by Deafheaven. I just really like this painting. I like how it's kind of like barely visible because it's black on black, this figure of the face. And I like the white mixed with like the really light blue and pink pink colors. Just a really interesting painting in my opinion. Then you've got Luxury Problems by Andy Stott. I think that's a really striking photograph. And by the way, this album is just unbelievably good. It's such a unique experience. I can't recommend it enough. Then you've got The Coast Is Never Clear by Beulah, some indie pop. I just love the colors. I love the framing. I just love this cartoon of a sunset. What can I say? Now you've got a compilation of Hall & Oates. I just really like this photograph of them, but also in particular the background, the kind of like blue and white swirly background. I just think it really pops. Really cool. Now this one is really bizarre. This one kind of grew on me. This is Halcyon Digest by Deer Hunter. I don't know if that's like a trick or if that's like a dwarf, or I don't know who that is, but really kind of bizarre. I like it. Now you've got this Courtney Barnett and Kurt Vile collaboration, A Lot of Sea Lice. I just love this photo of them. I love the composition. I love their looks. I love the two-tone background. It just jumps out at me. What can I say? Now this one's very simple, but I like the framing of it. I like the colors. I like the photograph in her outfit. This is Mug Museum by Kate LeBon, some indie rock from the 2010s. Now I think this is a pretty striking photograph of whoever that is. This is Perfect Teeth by Unrest, some 90s indie rock. And I love her hat. Her hat and her jacket are really cool. Very cool photograph. Now this one kind of grew on me as well. This is Singles by Future Islands. And actually the title and album name is actually like tape on the plastic. The actual cover doesn't have the name on it. I don't know. It kind of grew on me. What can I say? I like it. Then you've got the classic self-titled Peter Gabriel album. This is his third self-titled, I believe. It's also known as Melt. This is from, I think, 1980. It's very cool, very bizarre type stuff. Whoops. Now this one has also grown on me. This is My Woman by Angel Olsen. I don't know. I like the colors. I like her pose. I like her white jacket. What can I say? It looks pretty cool. Then you've got some indie country rock with Sunny and the Sunsets. This is Longtime Companion. I just love the framing of this. I really like the color choice with the yellow and the blue and the white. And I like the look on his face, but especially I like the hat he's wearing. That one just always jumps out at me. What can I say? Then you've got some early 90s electronica with the Black Dog. This is Spanners. I just really like the shade of purple they used, but especially this kind of three-headed dog figure. I like it because it's like super early 90s computer graphics, and you can definitely tell. Whoops. Then you've got some kind of garage rock revival stuff with the Mooney Suzuki. This is Electric Sweat. I just love how like intensely orange and white this is. And I love his expression right there. He's just rocking out. It's a lot of fun. Then you've got a classic. This is Psycho Candy by the Jesus and Mary Chain. Such a great shoegaze album from the 80s. I like the colors on this one. I like the framing. The only thing is, it might be hard to see, but it's like a really low-res photo. I don't know why they went with that. But, you know, whatever. Then you've got some contemporary rap. This is K.O.D. by J. Cole. I just love the colors on this. I like this cartoon image. I don't know exactly what this part represents per se, but it just really stood out to me. Now this is another grower. It's super simple looking, but I don't know. There's just something about it. This is The Flower Lane by DuckTales. It's a real estate side project. I forget the singer's name, but what can I say? It's just, you know, simple but effective. Very cool. Now this one is a total classic, in my opinion. This is Nonstop Erotic Cabaret by Soft Cell, some early 80s synth pop. I just love everything about it. I love their expression. I love their outfits, the colors, the framing. I mean, geez Louise. That's an all-time great, in my opinion. Then you've got some 2010 psych pop with Darker My Love. I just love the face in the middle. Just it's kind of goofy in a way. The only thing about this one is the cover makes you think it would probably be like goth rock or metal or something, but it's definitely not either of those. And you've got Country Agenda by Alex Bleeker and the Freaks. I love the framing of this. I love the colors, but I just really like this, you know, kind of impressionistic painting of, you know, a mountainside or whatever. I don't know. I just like that kind of thing. What can I say? Then you've got Other Life by Sean Nicholas Savage, some contemporary synth pop. This guy is kind of a guilty pleasure. I just love the shade of blue. I think it's great. I love how the imagery ties into the name because you've got like his normal life here and then his other life in the background. Just very simple, but I think it works. I think it stands out. Then you've got Origin of Symmetry by Muse. I just love this like orangey yellow shade they used for the background. And I like these kind of like tuning forks or goalposts or whatever they are. This one just jumps out at me. Now this one is really simple, but very colorful, which I like. This is the self-titled Wild Flag debut from the 2010s. I don't know. I'm a sucker for this kind of thing. What can I say? Just very colorful. I don't know. I like it. Now, I love the geometry and colors on this one. This is Beautiful Rewind by Fortet. I love the outside colors. I love the circle bit. And this kind of looks like a New York City street or something. Like this would be the street, and then on the sides are the buildings. It kind of looks like that, I would argue. Now this one is simple but effective. This is the Green Album by Weezer, their third album. I just love the shade of green they chose. I like the photo of the band. And I really like how this guy right here looks like that dude from Lost, that TV show. I forgot the character's name or the actor's name, but it's the guy in the first few seasons with the really intense eyes. He looks exactly like him. Then you've got some indie pop from the 2000s. This is Satanic Panic in the Attic by Of Montreal. Just so colorful, so detailed. I'm just a sucker for anything like this. I mean, there's just so much going on. I mean, I just love it. And then finally, we've got some 2000s electro pop, indie pop kind of stuff with Bright Like Neon Love by Cut Copy. I just love this. All right, here's some more with Consuming Impulse by Pestilence. This is just such an iconic metal cover. Oh my goodness. The poor guy with the ants on his face, the red ants. I love the composition of this one. This is Guitar Town by Steve Earle, some 80s country. I just think it's a really good photo. And I love the color scheme with the red and the black and white. And then this is some more country with Shadowland by Katie Lang. I just think that's such a great photo of her, and I love her haircut. Really cool picture. And some more 80s country with Lyle Lovett's self-titled album. Again, I just love the composition. I love the color scheme. I love this haircut. I think it works. And this is Flying High by The Irresistible Force. I just like this one quite a bit for some reason. Very kind of psychedelic, very early 90s. I just think it stands out, to be honest. Now, I like this one for the photo. I think it's a great photo of the band. This is Live by the Code by Terror. It's like hardcore punk music. It's a pretty cool album. But I just think that's a great photo. And I love the top part as well, and the color scheme. This is Endless Scroll by Bodega. And I love geometric album covers, which is this to a T. Plus, I like the color blue here. I just think that's a really interesting cover. And this is another one I like for the photo. I think it's a great photo of the band. This is Twice Removed by Sloan. I just think they all have great expressions, personally. And this one I like for how bold it is. Just the color scheme and everything. And I like the cityscape. I just think it really stands out. I like looking at it. What can I say? This is Caius with Welcome to Sky Valley. Just a very simple cover, but it really stands out to me. I like the mix of red and purple going on. And then you got some metal with Dissection, Return of the Light's Bane. Such a detailed, kick-ass album cover. Got Death on a horse with a scythe. Very cool. And this one's very simple, but I like it quite a bit. This is Goddammit by Alkaline Trio. Again, it's just a very simple image, but it stands out to me. I like the color scheme with the clocks or whatever that is. Now this one is pretty kick-ass. This is Fun Trick Noisemaker by Apples in Stereo. I mean, that's just such a cool painting or whatever you'd call it. I love the color scheme on it too. It's just, that one is like a top 10. This is my favorite Nick Cave cover, Let Love In. Just, I love the color scheme on this, and I like his expression, and just the whole thing in general just really is striking to me. And I love the characters that this band uses, Hot Water Music. I love this character right here. I just think it stands out quite a bit. They have some pretty cool album covers in general. Now, I like this one because of the composition and just of the photo of Kurt Weill. I think it's a really well-composed photo. This is Believe I'm Going Down. And then here's another great photograph, in my opinion. This is Margot Price I think it's called like Midwest Farmer's Daughter. I just like the color scheme, the desaturated color scheme. I like her photo, her pose and everything. I think it stands out. And I just like the collage on this one. This is Correct Behavior by Eternal Summers, a really cool recent indie pop kind of band. And then you got to have The Fame by Lady Gaga. I mean, that's a striking image, in my opinion. Very fashionable. I don't know. I just like it quite a bit. What can I say? I like the album. Now, this one is pretty wild and crazy and convoluted. This is Person Pitch by Panda Bear, the guy from Animal Collective. Just a lot of stuff happening here. It's quite the busy hot tub. And then you've got Extraordinary Machine by Fiona Apple. Just a really cool photo of like a flower or whatever that is, some buds. I like the color scheme with the pink and the green. I like it. And then you got Picaresque by the Decemberists. Again, just a really well composed photo. I like how staged it is. Really cool. And I like the drawing. The frame drawing is pretty cool. And this one's very simple, but very effective. The self-titled Future Heads album. I like the cardboard cutouts, or paper cutouts rather, of the band members. Very simple, just very effective though. I think it stands out. And then you've got Congratulations by MGMT. This one is definitely a wacky one, very colorful, but a very cool cover, I would say. And then this is Magnolia Electric Company by Songs Ohio, or Ohio rather. And I think this is a really cool photo, or sorry, not photo, really cool drawing. It really stood out to me. And then you've got Anti-Socialites by Always, or is it Always? I don't know. I just think that's a really interesting painting, or collage, or whatever that is. I like the color scheme as well. And then you've got, Fever to Tell by Yeah Yeah Yeahs. Oh my goodness. So much color, so much going on. Nothing necessarily is grabbing your eye per se, but I just think it's really wild and crazy, and I like it. And then you've got some indie pop, R.I.P. the singer. She died young. This is Camera Obscura with Let's Get Out of This Country. And I just love this album cover. I love her expression. I love her shirt. I love the background. I think it's just a really memorable cover. And then you've got another country album by Dwight Yoakam. This is his debut album, Guitars, Cadillacs, etc. Very 80s looking, but I like this bit. I like his expression. I think it really stands out. And then finally, some more country from the 80s. This is Randy Travis with Always and Forever. It's such an 80s cover, but I love his pose. I just think it worked compositionally. I'm a fan. All right, let's keep going. All right, I love this photograph, some classic hip hop with Boogie Down Productions. This is By All Means Necessary. I just love that. It's such an iconic cover, in my opinion. And here's another iconic cover, Born in the USA by Bruce Springsteen. Just such a great composition. And the color scheme, the American color scheme is very memorable. Now, this is like a Scottish indie rock band from the early 80s. And I just really like this painting and the color scheme on it. It's just a very interesting composition. And this is probably my favorite Hot Water Music album. I love the characters here, and I like the color scheme and the doodlings in the background. I think it's very memorable. And this is such a great photo. Oh my gosh. 6 Feet Deep by Gravediggers. Such an iconic image. Oh my goodness. I'm a fan. And then you've got Step in the Arena by Gangstar. And I just like how serious they look. Their expressions are great, especially this guy's. I think it really stands out. And I love this band. This is Future Islands, and they usually have really good album covers. This is one of my favorites. This is from In Evening Air, and it reminds me of the Final Fantasy VI artwork especially. And here's a great album, Yoshimi Battles the Pink Robots by the Flaming Lips. I love the cartoon artwork going on here. It's a really interesting sci-fi concept album. And then this is the debut by Echo and the Bunnymen, Crocodiles, and I just love the color scheme on this photo. I like the composition as well. I think it's just a really interesting and different looking kind of photograph. And this is Elliott Smith by Elliott Smith. Love the colors going on here, the kind of dark blue and white, and the two jumping people. I think it really stands out. And I love this photograph. This is The Back Room by Editors. Really kind of fun post-punk from the 2000s, but I just love this photo, and I like the composition of it. Now this is a great stoner metal album. This is Dope Throne by Electric Wizard, and I just think that's such a great image, considering it's a little fuzzed out, you know, because you're kind of getting stoned like this guy is. I just think it works pretty well with the concept and everything. And this is Into the Grave by Grave, just another really cool metal album cover. I mean, usually metal album covers are pretty awesome in my experience. This one's kind of simple, but I like it. I like the yellow and black and white. This is Dizzy Rascal with Boy in the Corner. I like this album quite a bit. It's kind of a difficult listen, though, I will admit. And this is such an iconic cover by this point, I would say. This is Daughters with You Won't Always Get What You Want, I think is the name. Just a great kind of like skull figure. Really cool looking. And then you've got some more metal from the 90s. This is Dismember with like an ever-flowing stream. Just a really cool image. Very metal, of course. And I like how simple this one is too, but it's very kind of geometric. This is Dismemberment Plan with Emergency and I just think it stands out quite a bit. And I love the colors they use. And I like this figure a lot. And I really like this one. I like this cartoon. This is A Blessing and a Curse by Drive-By Truckers. A really cool album, by the way. Gravity's Gone is a great song, but I really like the artwork on that one. And then you got some more metal with Left Hand Path by Entombed. Really cool cover and a really cool album too. Definitely check that one out. Lots of detail going on. And this is probably my favorite Elvis Costello album cover. This is Trust from the 80s. I just love everything about it. I just love how he looks. He looks like such a cool cat, man. And then you've got some more 80s stuff, some new wave going on with The Flock of Seagulls, the self-titled debut. Very, very 80s, very colorful, very kind of abstract. I dig it. And then you've got Husker Du with Zen Arcade. I love how they kind of drew over the photo and colored it in like a first grader might color it in, is what it looks like. Very iconic, in my opinion. I like it. And here's another iconic indie rock cover, You're Living All Over Me by Dinosaur Jr., which is also a great album. But I just love that drawing. Oh my goodness. And I love the purple, the yellow, and the white, especially. And here's another iconic 80s album, Pyromania by Def Leppard. Such a fun kind of pop metal album, but very iconic. You've got the Target sights on the building, which is blowing up. Really cool, really 80s, really colorful. Lots of fun. All right, let's keep going. All right, here's some more metal with Clandestine by Entombed. I love how detailed it is, and I like the cauldron thing in the middle especially. Very metal, very cool. And then you've got Slanted and Enchanted by Pavement. Some classic 90s indie rock. Definitely one of the more memorable covers from the 90s, in my opinion. And this one's a really great composition. Such a great photo. This is The Impossible Bird by Nick Lowe. I just love the color scheme. I love the painting. I love the textured brown wall. I like the chicken feet. I just think it's a great photo. And then you've got Eric Church with Chief. Now this one's really simple. I mean, it's just a guy wearing a hat and sunglasses, but I think it's a really effective composition considering what they were going for. I think he looks like a cool cat, in my opinion. Now this is unfortunate because of the sticker, but I think without the sticker it'd be definitely one of my favorite 80s covers. This is the Blurred Crusade by The Church. I love the blue and purple armor with the colorful bird. Very cool. And this is Built to Spill with You in reverse. Clearly what I like is the abstract drawing going on in the middle. Very cool stuff. I'm a fan. Now I love this photo from Down Colorful Hill by Red House Painters. Great album too. Definitely clues you into the vibe of the album itself. So very, very effective. Good composition too. And I love this one too. This is Ghost Reveries by Opeth. Very metal looking. I love the black and gold color scheme. It definitely looks very kind of gothic and metal. I'm a fan. Then you've got Hysteria by Def Leppard. Just a great pop metal album. Very, very colorful, very 80s. And I love the screaming face in the background. Really memorable. Now this is a great death metal cover. This is Scream Bloody Gore by Death. I love the blue, or the purple and the red color scheme. And the characters are really cool too. Very detailed. I like it. And I like the composition on this guy. This is British Steel by Judas Priest, some heavy metal from the 80s. I don't know if that's a photo or a drawing, but I really like it. I think it stands out. Now this is a real photo from history. I forget the details, but this is Killing Joke's debut album from 1980. It's kind of like industrial rock. And it definitely matches the vibe of the album, which is why I like it so much. It's a good choice. And I like this one quite a bit. This is some punk blues with Fire of Love by the Gun Club. I love the pink and the green, and I really like the collage-y kind of like cut and paste look to it. I think it's very effective. Now this one is really fun. It looks like somebody drew it in paint. This is Bandwagon-esque with Teenage Fan Club. I love the bright pink and the bright yellow. Just a very memorable cover, in my opinion. And this is the original cover art for Gish by Smashing Pumpkins. Definitely love the color scheme. Definitely like the kind of warped photograph of the bands. I just think it's a very good cover. Oh my goodness. Now this one is really famous. This is Suede by the London Suede, and it was purposely made ambiguous as to whether, you know, they're the same gender or not. So quite a statement, very memorable. Now, I like this one because it's kind of goofy. I like the character in the middle. This is some Electronica with the Sabres of Paradise. It's a very simple cover, but I've always liked it. I don't know why. Now, this one's kind of fun. This is Screamadelica by Primal Scream, some acid house from the 90s. And I just love this little cartoon character. I think it jumps out at you. Very, very cool. And then I love this Prodigy cover. This is Music for the Jilted Generation. I love how the face looks and how he's coming through like the metal. He's screaming through the metal. This is some pretty interesting rave music from the early 90s, their second album. But this is probably their best album. This is The Fat of the Land by Prodigy. Definitely check it out. I've always liked the colors on this album art, and I love the crab with the kind of red and orange look to it. Just a very memorable album cover, in my opinion. But let's move right along. All right, so this is some iconic early 80s indie rock with the Feelies. And this is what inspired the Weezer's Blue album debut cover art, which is right here. Very, very similar. Also a killer album too. Now this one is really simple. It's just a compilation by The Fall, but I love the colors in the title, and I like his pose. It's just a very simple but effective composition. I like it quite a bit. And this is probably my favorite album cover. I mean, oh my goodness. This is In the Nightside Eclipse by Emperor, some metal from the 90s. It's just so intense, so detailed, so kick-ass. Oh my gosh. This is The Boatman's Call by Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds. I really just love the bricks in the background. I love his expression. I love his haircut. I'm pretty jealous of his haircut, to be honest. I just think it's a great photo. Really cool album, too. And this is a pretty iconic photo, in my opinion. This is Minor Threat, some straight edge punk rock from the 80s. Just a really great composition. And I like the yellow version the most. I think it comes in different colors, depending on which version you have. Now, this is an iconic album cover for sure. This is Technique by New Order. I just love the colors on this. Definitely very, very memorable. One of my favorites, absolutely. And then you've got some more metal with Scum by Napalm Death. Very, very intense, very detailed. I love how it says right here, suggested retail price, £4. Somebody got this for a steal. Oh my God. Now, I love geometric album art, so this one fits the bill. This is R+7 by One Otrix Point Never. Very interesting electronic stuff, very different. And then you've got my favorite Husker Du album cover, probably, which is Flip Your Wig, because it's kind of like the frosting they would put on cake in Stop and Shop, which I love. Oh my gosh, I love those cakes at Stop and Shop, I'm not gonna lie. And I love this album cover. This is Lou Reed's New York from the 80s. Great album too. I love this photo, and especially Lou Reed here with this long leather jacket smoking. He just looks like such a cool cat, man. Jeez Louise. Then you've got Urban Hymns by The Verve. Such a great album. But I really love this composition. It's a great photo of the band. Very, very well composed, in my opinion. And here's an iconic album cover for sure. 1984 by Van Halen. Pretty kick-ass hard rock. You got the baby smoking with the angel wings. Very, very iconic 80s stuff. And this is a really interesting band. This is the Violent Femmes from the early 80s. It's like college rock / indie rock. But I love this photo of the girl. I even like the desaturated color scheme too. I think it works really well. Great album. Very unique sounding too. Now this band has really cool album covers. This is X, a Los Angeles punk band. This is Los Angeles. It's such an iconic cover with the flaming X on the front. But this one is probably their best album cover. This is Under the Big Black Sun. I just love the shadow work, you know, the black and white work. Very, very memorable stuff. Very cool. And this one's a little bit more out there, but I like it a lot too. This is Wild Gift by X. Just a totally bizarre album cover, but another great album by that band. Now this is a more recent band. This is Veronica Falls from like 2012. I just really like this photo of this old like barn or whatever that is. I don't even know what that is, but I think it's a really interesting photograph. Really stood out to me. Cool album too. And then I like a lot of the White Stripes covers. This is from White Blood Cells. And I kind of interpret this as like the reason these guys are all blacked out is because they don't really matter in the grand scheme of things. They don't really have much of a legacy. These guys have a legacy because they created the White Stripes and they made great music. So these are the ones that, or they're shown because they matter, quote unquote. Whereas these guys are just like paparazzi or whatever. That's how I interpret that one. And then this is such an iconic photo of this kid. This is War by U2. Such a great post-punk album. But that's just such an amazing image. Such a great cover. And this is probably my personal favorite White Stripes cover. This is from their debut, self-titled debut. I just love the color scheme and the composition and the peppermint candy. And then this is Desigil by White Stripes. Very geometric. Love the color scheme. Again, I'm a sucker for any kind of geometric stuff, so definitely got to go with that one. And then we've got the Marshall Mathers LP by Eminem. Another great composition. And I really like how he's sitting in front of the house where he grew up in Detroit. So it gives you some insight into his past life, which is kind of neat. So another great album too, by the way, if you've never heard it. All right, let's keep going. All right, so here's some 80s kind of folk music with Michelle Shocked. And that's such a great photo of a protester being handled by the police. Oh my goodness. And I actually love the color choice contrasted with the black and white. Very cool. Unfortunately not on Spotify. Now here's a interesting version of like the Elvis Presley photo with Tom Waits' Rain Dogs. I really like this photo. And this is a really unique sounding album. Very cool stuff. Definitely check that one out. Now this is the OG version of the Soundgarden's album Super Unknown. I've always liked this cover art quite a bit. Kind of like the fuzzed out faces or whatever. And I guess that's like a forest. It's like an upside down forest on the bottom. Very kind of cool stuff. Now this is a very mysterious cover art. I really like it. This is the Telescopes with, I think it's self-titled. I don't remember. But I just love how kind of mysterious and dark it is. Very cool stuff. And I've always liked this cover. REM's Automatic for the People. I have no idea what the heck this is. And it kind of looks like it was cut out and pasted on top of something else. There's like weird textures on it that kind of allude to that, like over here, for example. So I don't know exactly how they made that photo. Now this one is pretty kick-ass. This is Italian hardcore punk. This is, the band is Raw Power. And it's called Screaming from the Gutter. That is just such a cool album cover. Oh my God. I love the wild color scheme. And then this is The Woods by Sleater-Kinney. Some 2000s indie rock. I've always liked this album cover. You know, you've got the trees on a stage here. Just very well composed. I really like it. Now this is a great album from the 80s, Talk 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 by Psychedelic Furs. And I just love this album cover. Very kind of abstract, very collage-y in a way. It just stands out to me. And this is another really interesting 80s album cover. The Color of Spring by Talk Talk. I love how they've got all of these butterflies on the photo, but the one in the middle looks like a face with the two eyes. I like how they kind of got your attention that way. Now this is Dirty Mind by Prince, and the reason I love this one so much is because of what he's wearing. He just looks completely like somebody who wouldn't be a ladies' man, and yet he's totally a ladies' man. Like the balls on him to dress like that on the cover. Oh my God! And this is such an iconic cover. This is the Pretenders' self-titled debut. Such a great album, and I love their outfits. I love how this guy, for some reason, is like turned this way when he should be facing over here. Like, what is he doing? And I love Chrissie Hynde's red leather jacket. It's pretty kick-ass. Now, this is my favorite Police albums, and Yada Mundada. I just love how colorful and 80s it is. I love the photo of the band right here. It's just so damn 80s. I just love it. I mean, geez Louise. Great album. And this is an extremely iconic album cover. You've got like the faces that are all like rubbed out with red. And this is Remain in Light by Talking Heads. Such a great kind of Afrobeat new wave album. Definitely check out the music video for Once in a Lifetime. That is a wild one. And then you've got some more Tom Waits with Swordfish Trombones. Another really wacky kind of like drunk rock, experimental rock stuff. But I really like this kind of desaturated color photo of, it looks like kind of vaudeville stuff. I don't know. I really like it though. And then you've got the Stone Roses self-titled debut. Such a great Manchester dance rock album. I love the imagery above the Jackson Pollock painting, you know, where you've got like the oranges and the flag and all that kind of stuff. Very cool. And now this is a very wild cover art, in my opinion, very 80s. This is Argy Bargy by Squeeze. Another great album, very British pop rock. But I like how kind of like artsy it looks. You know, they like cut out some of the photos or whatever. Very interesting. And now I like this one. This is Stevie Ray Vaughan with In Step. I like this one because it's such a great photo of him. I love the composition and I love his pose. I love the colors of his outfit. I just like the whole thing. This is a lot of fun album. Kind of blues rock stuff. Now this one's really cool. This is like 80s rock and roll, like 50s style rock and roll. And I love the color scheme on this album cover. Very 80s, very fun, very energetic. I like it. And this is Wide Awake by Parquet Courts. And I love this album cover because, as I mentioned on my review, you can't see their faces because the album talks about like tribalization and how when you are tribalized, you kind of lose a bit of yourself. So that's why you don't see their faces. That was my interpretation of it. But I also just like the colors and the characters and stuff like that. And then you've got Room on Fire by The Strokes. Just very colorful, very kind of like almost amateurish drawing, but I really like it. I like it more than the cover on their first album. This is a pretty good album too. Definitely check it out. And I love this photo, this kind of lo-fi, low-res photo of Sun Kil Moon's April. This is such a great album, by the way. If you've never heard it, definitely recommend it. I just love the composition of this. It's kind of like a chandelier or whatever, but just a very interesting photo, in my opinion. All right, let's move on. All right, now I love this album cover, and this is a really cool album. It's like sci-fi rap. This is Deltron 3030, self-titled debut. I believe that's a real place, but that's such a great photo, and I love the yellow on black. Just a great composition. Now this one's pretty simple but effective. I love the geometric nature of this one and the color scheme. This is The White Room by the KLF, some acid house from the early 90s. This is Salad Days by Mac DeMarco. Great album. I really like this photo of him. I love the shadowy work going on. I think it's just a good composition, to be honest. It stands out to me, in my opinion. Then you've got Bad by Michael Jackson. Really fun album, but I like this for a couple reasons. One is his eyes really stand out, and I just love how bizarre this jacket he has is. It's just totally wild, totally Michael Jackson. Then you've got In Rainbows by Radiohead. Great album, but I really like this cover. I like how colorful it is. And I don't know what this is in the background, the orange, but it's really cool. It almost reminds me of space. Then you've got Daydream Nation by Sonic Youth. Such an iconic cover, very minimalist with the burning candle on the two-tone background. Such a great noise rock, indie rock gem as well. And then you've got my favorite Björk album, Post. Very, very colorful album art. I love that photo of her. She looks very, very Asian and artistic. I like it. Then you've got her debut album, which is also called Debut. And I like this a lot because it's a great photo of her, because she's kind of, it kind of makes me think that she's thinking like, please like my album. I promise it's really good. Just listen to it, please. Very adorable. This is one of my favorites for sure. This is Bang Bang Rock and Roll by Art Brut from 2005. Very, very colorful. I love how there's a bunch of different photographs of the band members all like overlapping. Very well composed. Then you've got the classic debut album by Arcade Fire, Funeral. And I love the font of the letters. I love the wood backgrounds. I love the drawing of the hand and the feathers. Just really cool. Well, I guess that's a quill. Just a very iconic cover. And then this might be my favorite rap cover, Breaking Atoms by Main Source. It just looks so early 90s. It's so colorful. I love the little, spew of atoms in the middle. And I like the photo of the band members as well. Very cool. Then you've got some Dream Pop with Kitchens of Distinction. I love how colorful this is. And it looks very Japanese, like those Japanese tsunami drawings from back in the day. Very cool. Now I like this one for the composition of the photo. I think it's great, and I love how he's looking at you. This is Riot on an Empty Street by Kings of Convenience. Very chill, very late night, kind of like singer-songwriter stuff. Simon and Garfunkel-y. Now I love this album cover. This is Jay Lin. This is recent electronica. Very hard to describe, but I love the black and white imagery with the origami elephant. Very, very cool. Then you've got the debut album by Jay-Z, Reasonable Doubt. Just such an iconic photo of him looking like a total badass with that awesome hat and cigar. Clearly already at the top of his game. Now, I'm assuming this is a real statue. Maybe it's like a World War I statue, but this is Setting Suns by The Jam. And I just love the color scheme and the composition of the photo. I think it really stands out. Then you've got some 90s metal with The Jester Race by In Flames. I love the flaming orange background, the clouds, and like the mobile, super detailed fortress. Very, very metal. Very cool. Now this is a fun guilty pleasure. This is Tyrannosaurus Hives by The Hives. And I like the color scheme of this. I like their white suits. I like how it's kind of like a cartoon version of them. Like I like how the singer looks here. I think it's just a good composition overall. Then you've got some Cow Punk with Meat Puppets 2 by Meat Puppets. Very kind of impressionistic slash, abstract or whatever. I like it quite a bit though. Then you've got Moby's self-titled debut album from the early 90s, Trance Music. Very kind of collage-y looking, but I like it quite a bit. I think it's pretty memorable. Then you've got the classic Tago Mago by Can, just really cool krautrock from the 70s. You've got the abstract head with the imagery of the brain inside. Very memorable stuff. Great album too. Definitely check that one out. Now this is another really cool rap cover, Hell Hath No Fury by Clips. I love the photo. I love the composition. I love the oven and all the background of like the wall of Benjamins, as they say. Very fun. Now this is a really cool album cover by the rap group Company Flow. This is Fun Crusher Plus. This is LP's first group from the 90s. He's in Run the Jewels. Just a very wild album cover for sure. Now this one's very simplistic, but I really like this symbol. This is Microgravity by Biosphere. Just a really cool like sci-fi electronica album from the 90s. Just very minimalist, but I just like the symbol of it. What can I say? Then you've got Mellow Gold by Beck. I love the red stormy cloud background, plus the totally wild statue, which is made up from random parts, which kind of describes the sound of his music, because he's like a collage of different genres. So it kind of makes sense. Now this is a great album from 2019, Two Hands by Big Thief. Definitely check this one out, but I love this photo of the band. Very iconic, I would say. Very memorable. And you've got some more Beck with Sea Change from the early 2000s. I love this photo of him, and it's kind of David Bowie-esque with like the colors on his face and stuff, but I really like the composition overall. Now this is a great photo of Mac DeMarco for me. This is 2, and I like the photo because it kind of clues you into his personality. Like he looks like such an adorable person. Such a kind-hearted guy, And I also like the color scheme with the light blue or whatever that is. Just a great album, great photo, cool stuff. This is A Certain Trigger by Maximo Park. Just a very simple album cover, but I love how he's like doing this weird jump pose. It's always stood out to me ever since I first saw it back in 2005. Really fun album. Then you've got this totally wild drawing for My Morning Jacket Z, which is a really cool album. Definitely check this one out, but I love the characters on here. Very, very wild. Now I love this album cover, and this is a really interesting like post-rock band. This is Young Teen by Mogwai, and this is the original album art, which is pretty rare, but it's so cool. Like, why can't they make this the album cover for the new remaster versions? I don't know, but I'm a big fan of it. Whoops. Then you've got the classic debut album by Madonna. I mean, that's such a iconic photo of her. I love her haircut too. It just looks great. Definitely a great composition as well. Now this is my personal favorite album art from the 80s. This is Marshall Crenshaw's debut album. Just so colorful, so 80s. I love his pose, looking like a cool guy. Such a great album too. Unfortunately, it's not on Spotify, but definitely worth checking out wherever you can find it. One of my favorites from the 80s. Then you've got to have Kill 'Em All by Metallica. I mean, geez Louise, such an iconic album cover with the bloody hammer. Definitely a must listen as well, their debut album. Oh my goodness. And last but not least, you got to have Thriller by Michael Jackson. I mean, one of the most iconic album covers of all time. Just looking like a total ladies' man. Geez Louise. Sorry for that weird cut, but the camera died in the middle of the end there, so that's why that happened. But anyways, so I'm really curious what some of your favorite album covers are from your collection, or just in general. Tell me down in the comments so I can Google them. I love cool album covers. And again, I want to thank Kara Was the Diver for suggesting this. Follow her channel, by the way. It's really, really cool. So anyways, that's my video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed some of the covers. Hopefully you like some of the albums if you happen to listen to them. But anyways, that's it. Have a good night.